Family vacations are a nice way to travel. You're applying for 5 days? That's extravagant in this day and age.
The general manager was sarcastic when I applied for the paid vacation. I'm grateful for the many years I've worked for this company. I can't have my request denied. I got through it with a friendly smile that I am not used to. I got my paycheck. At that time, I had no idea it was going to come to that. I'm Matthew, 55 years old. I'm a clerical worker for a company in the manufacturing business. We're a subsidiary for a big company. I'm a clerical guy. I'm mainly in charge of security maintenance. We have an outside contractor that does all the details for us. I was the point of contact with the contractors.
Mr. Matthew, my director is watching the video again.
I'm at work, and a female employee gives me a look of complete disgust. She sneaks over here to tell me about it. I understand. I'll be careful. I got up from my seat. There are 4 clerks, me, 2 female employees under me, and the manager. 4 desks. They're all in the middle of the office facing each other. From my position, I can't see what he's doing, but the female employee sitting next to me can see him perfectly. I stand next to the manager and clears my throat. He puts on his earphones and keeps his eyes on the computer screen. He's grinning and the sound is leaking out of the earphones. I coughed loudly again and said, "Director Smith, you're in trouble. It's work hours. Please turn off that video now," I warned him. The manager noticed me but gave me a disgruntled look and said,
"Shut up, I'm on the break right now. I'm taking a break so you can watch it. Or what? Matthew, are you trying to talk back to your boss? You're a high school graduate and I'm a top-notch college graduate."
I tell you what, you're welcome to take a break, but please don't watch lazy videos on the company computer. Please don't do that. You might step on a weird link and you could get a computer virus. As your security officer, I can't let that happen. I made it clear to him. Behind the manager, the female employee from earlier was nodding her head.
Matthew, how did you know that I am watching a questionable video when we're sitting across from each other? You mean there was someone who told on you?"
The manager looks at the female employee next to him. She looks quickly down and away. "No, sir. The sound was leaking on your earphones. That's why I noticed and came over to warn you." I pointed the manager's ears.
You think so? I think this woman was curious about it too. They say married women are more skanky."
"Director Smith, that's sexual harassment. What are you thinking?" When the outrageous sexual harassment remark came out of his mouth, I rushed to stop him. The female employee made a bright red face and stared at the manager, but she didn't say anything and went on with her work. I followed up with the female employee after that, and told the president about her insolence, and I just sighed. "Anyway, please stop this sleazy video now."
"Shut up, Matthew, you're a little cocky for a subordinate. I'll stop it after the break, so leave me alone."
I tried to warn him, but he wouldn't listen to me. After watching the video for a while, he then hurried off to the bathroom. Is he not ashamed of his behavior? I'm really appalled. After he disappeared into the bathroom, I got in touch with the security company. "Okay, so yes, we rarely use the internet for business." When I finished the call, the female employee next to me.
"Where did you call?"
she asked. I smirked. "It's a security company. I'm about to set the security on the company's computers. I'm going to set the security onto the highest, the most stringent setting. It shouldn't be able to connect to any weird websites. It's just that even if the page is harmless, there are times when it's flagged as harmful. I heard it's better to set it to medium," I reply. The female employee sniffles.
"It's fine. I rarely look at the internet at work anyway. After some inconvenience, I'll make sure Director Smith doesn't watch the video. Please keep on the highest setting."
He must be satisfied that day. When he came back from the bathroom, he did not watch any more dubious video. The next day, when he tried to watch the video, he was blocked by security. He couldn't watch it. He said,
Matthew, what's going on? I can't get my computer to work. I can't open all the pages.
He's furious. I put on a straight face. I turned up the security setting to the max. We've made it so you can't open dangerous pages. It's part of your security measures against cyber crimes. The president was happy to oblige. I replied. The female employees are all talking about it.
There's no problem in my normal work. I can open normal pages on the internet. There's nothing wrong with the internal network or the accounting software.
And they joined me. The general manager looks frustrated. Shit, you'll see. And went to the bathroom with his phone. Me and the other female employees were smirking at each other. I was worried that he might try to get back at me or something, watching sleazy videos in the middle of the day at work. I didn't think of him as a decent person to be upset with me for watching a sleazy video in the middle of the day at work. But I heard that the general manager was a graduate of a top university. He just came from the head office about 3 months ago. He's practically been demoted. I've always wondered why. The head office casually pushes new ones to the subsidiaries. He's a nuisance, but they can't stop him. I understand the head office's point of view. We are understaffed and it's extremely annoying.
This used to be a great place to work. I never thought I'd see a boss like that. No one would have thought that. You're absolutely right. We're still lucky to have Mr. Matthew here, but I wish Director Smith would quit.
Some of the women in the office were saying some pretty radical things. I cringed. I've always thought that if I didn't have any problems, I'd like to retire early and spend my retirement just fishing in the sea. I've always wanted to do that. I still feel the same way. My wife was more enthusiastic than I was. She gathers information on potential places and making detailed plans. Maybe it's time for me to quit, but under such a director. I didn't feel comfortable leaving my 2 female employees behind. Then I got a call. That time I got a call from my daughter and her husband, asking if we could take a family vacation. The destination was a seaside resort, where we used to go on family vacation. It would be a very nice place to spend a relaxing time. My wife was all for it.
Since we're going all this way, let's go for a longer trip. It's the only chance we'll get.
She's very excited about it. They have 2 children. One is a senior and the other is a 3rd grader. My older grandson is going to join a soccer club this fall. They have practice 5 times a week, so before he joins the club, as soon as the kids are on summer vacation, we decided to take a family vacation to a memorable seaside town. I was the first one. It was my daughter's family trip. I thought it would be too much for an intrusion, but my wife was keen on the idea and so was my daughter.
Daddy's purse is my purse. If you don't come, I'll be troubled, so please come.
My daughter said silly stuff, and my daughter's husband also. We're kidding about the wallet, so please come along. The kids wanted to learn how to fish. They want to learn from Grandpa. The son-in-law said, I'm really looking forward to fishing with my grandchildren. I decided to make the best of it. Apart from the paid application itself, I could have done it a week in advance. I didn't want to inconvenience the people around me.
It's nice to have a family trip. You're going to apply for 5 days? That's extravagant.
The manager gave me permission, but he complained persistently. It's thanks to the many years I've worked for this company. I can't afford to have my application denied. I got through it with a friendly smile and a sly smile that I'm not good at. I got the paycheck, but what the manager said next made my head spin.
Well, this is a good opportunity. Why don't you go ahead and resign as a payroll thief?
Huh? Payroll thief? Not understanding what he meant, I repeat what he said. The general manager nodded.
That's right. Isn't it enough for the ladies to do the usual office work? You're just doing a job. That doesn't make any sense in a subsidiary like this place. Who would commit a cybercrime against it in the first place?
I'd rather have you as an afterthought. I can't say it even if my mouth is torn. And of course, I do other work besides security. When I kept my mouth shut, he kept talking.
Security is just an outside contractor. That's a waste of money. Security for a company like this, commercial security software is all we need. That's why you're a payroll stealing liability. I'll give you your paycheck and you can just quit.
The women in the office stopped typing on their computers and looked at me with concern. I sigh heavily. I see. I understand. Then I'll quit at the same time as my paid vacation. The manager smiles at me.
No thanks. Let the women take over.
I felt bad for the women employees. I decided to take the opportunity to quit my job. The female employees who had seen the whole thing, they were angry at me for my outburst as if it were their own.
Why don't you appeal directly to the president?
I told them that I wanted to take the early retirement for a long time, that I couldn't say anything because I felt bad about leaving them behind. Then the female employee said,
Well, if that's the way it is,
they understand me. After that, I told the president. I told him what had just happened and that I wanted to take an early retirement. It wasn't until I was about to quit that the president realized what a mess he'd gotten himself into. Not voluntarily resigned, but for company convenience. He promised to pay me a solid severance pay. I went home to my wife. I explained to my wife that I had quit the company. I explained to her that. She said, It's perfect timing. I was relieved that she was overjoyed, and my daughter and her husband also said,
Well, then you deserve to quit, they said.
And so I took over the next day. I was going on a family vacation with my remaining paid vacation, and at the same time I was quitting the company. The next day, the first day of the trip, I was told by my daughter,
Dad, I think your phone is ringing.
She told me, Oh shoot, I forgot to reset my settings. I'll take this opportunity to delete it. I've only ever worked at the office. I've had my phone and email set to ring. Who would bother to call me on holiday? So I thought it was an emergency. But I'm not working for the company anymore, so I might as well delete it. But then I checked to see who it was from. I didn't expect it to be Mr. Smith. Something's wrong with the text. The email address is definitely the general manager, but it's like an automatic translation, but something's wrong. Oh well, I deleted the email. A few minutes later, I got another email. It's still him, but still something's wrong with the text. Meanwhile, my phone rang. It was the company. When I answered, it was the manager.
Hey, Matthew, I'm in trouble. I need you to do something.
He suddenly cried out. Can you please calm down and explain everything to me from the beginning? Here's what he told me. When he arrived at the office this morning, all female employees were pale.
Sir, this is an important matter,
they said. When he tried to start up his computer in the morning, it didn't work. And that's not all. The factory system didn't work either. It's not like there was a power outage, but the part of the system that's connected to the network doesn't work. The head office got in touch with us too, and all hell broke loose.
The company's internal network isn't working either. The dedicated accounting software is still frozen from the manager's email address. It seems that strange emails are being sent to our business partners one after another. We're getting bills on our phones too. What's going on?
The female employees were talking about it. Our business partners kept calling us to check on the situation. Director Smith seemed to have panicked.
It looks like we've been hit by a malicious computer virus. It could be a cyber attack against our company. You're in charge of security. Don't you know what's going on? I need you to come to the office right now.
I don't think so. I'm on vacation.
Do something, please.
You know what? I left the company because you called me a payroll thief. I have no intention of giving up a fun family vacation and going back. Why don't you just ask the contractor?
I asked them, but our guy is out sick. The other one said he could only go in the afternoon.
The general manager sounded genuinely distressed. Did you talk to the president? I don't know, maybe contact the head office or someone else.
Not yet. If I told the president, it would make matters worse. I like to keep it a secret.
What are you talking about at this point in time? You're already in a serious situation. Report it to the president right now. Tell him to call me. In the event of a computer virus infection, they should identify the source of infection as soon as possible. They need to repair the disinfection system. I don't give a damn about the department head. I just didn't want everyone else to have a hard time. A few minutes later, I got a call from the president. I told him what I was told by an outside contractor. The procedures I had been told to follow in case of an emergency. I kept it in the manual, but in a pitch. It's hard to understand when it's full of jargon. The president of the company is the second most knowledgeable computer user next to me. He understood even the simplest explanation and did the best he could. During that time, I learned that the security system had been changed from the highest to the lowest level. And from Mr. Smith's browsing history, he opened a suspicious website and stepped on a link, and that he'd been infected with the virus. Apparently, the director spent a lot of time yesterday evening on the company's computer, browsing questionable websites. He had no idea that he'd caused such a problem. The boss thanked me and hung up the phone. I could hear his voice was shaking, and I could tell he was furious. After that, I did what I could. I didn't get any calls from the company during the trip. My wife and I liked the beach town where we were traveling and decided to move there. After the trip, we returned home and started preparing for the move. Then I got a call from the president. The president thanked me again and said that he would pay me his cooperation fee in addition to my severance pay. Then, in the course of chatting with me, he told me the story that followed. He told me that the company had suffered a lot of damage. A computer virus had infected the company. The factory stopped working. Customer information and other important information leaked out. Some of our clients requested that we stop doing business with them. General Manager Smith was fired on disciplinary grounds. The female employees, they warned him about it, but he didn't quit browsing. They testified that they warned him on a regular basis, but he never stopped. The company is going to file a claim for damages against him.
I never thought that it would come to this. I'm truly sorry. Please forgive me.
And the manager got down on his knees crying and apologizing. But everyone around him looked at him with blank stares. I guess he got what he deserved. As a matter of fact, before I got the call from the president, Director Smith also called me and was as polite as if he was a different person.
I'm terribly sorry. Please, Matthew, I'd like you to testify that I accidentally opened a sleazy video for the first time and got infected with a computer virus.
I can't lie, and my history will tell you that. You'll have to take care of your own misbehavior, I replied. I'll report the call to the president of the company as well. Also, even though I resigned for reasons because of Director Smith's and the fact that the circumstances of my resignation were so terrible, the head of office got wind of it and they even came to my house to apologize. For the sake of the remaining female employees, I asked them not to send demoted people to the office easily in the future. The problem I was worried about has been cleared up. From now on, I'm going to live my retirement life in a seaside town.